What's the motherfucking deal? Welcome to the Den. If you're not familiar with the Den, well, my friends, I'll tell you all about the Den in just a second, but you guys are in for a special treat this weekend. You know what I mean? Not only once, but twice, and twice is nice. We have Mr. Man Up joining us this evening. You know, usually we only get one visit from Mr. Man Up, but we got another visit tonight. Man, how are you doing this evening, Mr. Man Up?
Oh, I'm great. I can't complain. You know, spent some family time. And I said, I gotta show my boy HonchoSaucy.
Here's the deal. Again, for those of you who are new to the Den, you know, the Den is a friendly community and conversation. And let me make sure I only call it the Den. Ain't add no other adjectives or anything in there. Nouns, adjectives, whatever it may be. You know, as we've recently changed the name. But if you're new to the Den, you know, this is a community of friends and conversation. And you can be one of the friends in the Den. You know, everybody's welcome. We're all friends in the Den, whether you've been here since day one or you're new to it. And, you know, we like to share our opinions uncensored. And so whatever thoughts that you may have, they're more than welcome. You know, we just ask that you have rational reasoning behind the reason why you believe, because it's all about understanding. You know, if you come in and you just say, I believe this just because I do, then that's not, you know, that's not a good way to be. That's not a valid way to feel just because you're emotional. We want to have understanding because we want to be able to see things through other people's shoes and things of that nature, because that's ultimately what it's about, man, being able to understand your fellow man. So, again, welcome to the Den. Tonight, we're going to talk about, this being the last day of September 2018, we're going to talk about how your past can meet your future. And we're going to talk a little bit, and then about, 30 minutes in, because we usually do the Den about an hour. So 30 minutes in or so, we'll open up the Denline so you guys can call in, share your thoughts. If you have comments, if you have thoughts, if you have, just questions. Again, we're here to make sure that we, can interact with you on that level. So, it's a very good concept, and Man Up, you brought this concept to the table. So I'm going to let you kind of explain what you mean so that folks can kind of understand and get a grasp of what it is that is meant when you say your past can meet your future, and how that kind of apply to some folks.
Well, when I say your past can meet your future, it's basically like making some good, strong decisions in your life. For example, I'm pretty sure everybody's heard of the Bill Cosby thing lately. Some people probably heard, I can't think of his name right now, but that judge that's trying to become Supreme Court judge or whatever, making decisions because they can impact you in your future. Like, I'm pretty sure all you youngsters out there, y'all heard y'all parents say these things. Be careful what you do today because it can hurt you tomorrow. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. Basically what I'm saying is just put it more in perspective. Let's just go back to Bill Cosby. He finally came out, he admitted that he gave those girls those roofies, those pills or whatever, and then he paid them to be quiet, but that happened back in the 70s and the 80s. Now look at him, 2018, serving prison time for his choices back in the day. Now I gotta ask you, is it really worth it? So that's some things you gotta think about. Sometimes, things can just happen beyond your control that you had no idea. But then there's things that you know that you're doing that could be wrong just because you want to experience some things or you want to have a good time, whatever the case may be. There are things like that we all need to think long and hard before we do it. Because if you do it and then you turn around and don't like what are you doing all certain things? Excuse me, if you do it, then later on, it comes back in it's time I kind of regret. And then some things that I know was wrong, but I didn't use my head and think twice. And then came back and bit me in the ass. And I had to work twice and twice as hard. I mean, twicer than twice, if that makes sense, to right those wrongs. So when I thought about this, your past can meet your future. That is so true. So when I brought up this topic, of course, I was thinking about myself. I was thinking about Bill Cosby. I was thinking about the judge. And I was also trying to tell my daughter, think about what you're doing right now, because tomorrow it could hurt you. So, and that's when I said, let me shoot this idea to Honcho.
Yes, Kenneth, I put you in timeout without warning for singing that goddamn Kiki song, because I hate that shit. I'm tired of hearing it. I don't want to see the damn dance. I don't want to see the motherfucking song. I don't even want to see the name Kiki. You just need to change the name to Casey. Casey, QT, Casey and JoJo. I don't fucking know. Yeah, I put you in timeout. And I was wrong for it because I ain't give you no warning, but I did it, god damn it. You know it's all love, Kenneth. I know you got backup accounts, so I know you'd return anyway. But been hearing that shit all day, motherfucker trying to kiki. Oh, god damn it. But here's the deal. Man. If we wouldn't have won that, nobody'd be singing that goddamn shit. But man, I agree with you. You know, and I think the judge you were speaking on was Kavanaugh, and it's funny because you know you talk about how your past can meet your future, how it could prevent you from being able to take certain steps in life. You know, take me for instance, you know, shit, you know, and I talk about how I caught a case a while back and had to deal with some things, and shit, it fucked me up from opportunities I didn't even know I wanted. Shit, you know, I didn't know they existed at first, and then when, you know, I had to slow my ass down and kind of sit and think for a second, okay, well, how can I navigate this situation legitimately? And I started looking at things, and I'm just like, well, what a predicament. And I started looking at little jobs, little government jobs I didn't realize, well, because of this situation, you'll never be able to get again. Just other licenses or little, you know, like even like say like a notary. Can't be a notary, and that's not even like it's just a job, but it's a little hustle that people use, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you make a little change being a notary public and you know, make some money. But I'm just looking at little things, and I'm like, wow. A lot of these opportunities that I didn't even realize, one, I didn't know they were there when I was doing stupid shit, you know, could have been making some extra money. But two, the fact that, you know, once you kind of sit down and do the research, you're like, wow, you know, I kind of played myself in this situation, in that situation. And ultimately, other avenues of life that, you know, these things will come back up. But I'm saying, like, you know, looking at the judge and not saying that he did do it or didn't do it, even though I have my feelings. We'll talk about that. You know, we'll talk about that as the investigation goes on later on this week, because they gave it a week to open up the investigation. So we'll talk about it closer towards the end of the investigation. But, you know, actions, hanging out with those people that he hung out with, drinking beer, hanging out with those kids. He probably didn't think it was a major thing at the time. Probably didn't think it was a major thing for the next, 35 years of his life. Yep. Pardon me. But you know what I'm saying, of his life. But then what happens is, as he thinks he's taking the next step, he's walking up to the steps to be basically employed permanently in one of the highest positions in the land. Bam. Motherfucker pop out the woodworks on his ass. Remember me, motherfucker? Huh? You remember me in my one-piece bathing suit, motherfucker? You know what I'm saying? And then so gave him a hard time. Now, could be. Could she be telling the truth? Maybe so. Could she be lying? Possibly. I'm not going to say she is. Could he be lying? Quite possibly. Could he be telling the truth? Absolutely, he could be telling the truth. So I'm not going to pick any side. I don't know the full details. That's the job of the FBI. If I'm just going by body language readings, I think there are a few sketchy things to look at. But again, like I said, we'll talk about that more in depth as the week goes on. But that's just a situation that's in the public eye right now that, I mean, everybody can see. But I think you have a lot of these people, too, who in the past, you know, again, they thought what they were doing was innocent. They didn't think it was major. But what I say when it refers to children, or not children, but kids nowadays or youth nowadays, getting a hold to the Instagrams and the Twitter and all of the social medias. And the thing that bothers me about that is these parents who let their kids have social media so young, you know, or not supervise what these kids are watching on social media so young. So they see the likes and they see, you know, they hear that all the time and they think that's what it's all about. And so they're willing to do stupid, ignorant shit for that attention, not realizing because they're young and they can't help it because nobody's going to explain to them. It's a hard thing to understand if you only, you know, been on this earth a few years, you know, but you growing up, you think you're learning something because you're seeing some other people do some stuff, and you out here doing ignorant stuff for the gram or for the Vine or for whatever media it is. And you start adapting to that behavior, but your shit has been recorded and it never disappears. You know what I mean? And so the fact that you have that kind of situation going, that's why I think it's very important that people learn that now. You know, be calculated in what you do. Be smart about what you do and what you put out there online, because it can come back to hurt you. You know what I mean? You have to be very cautious. I mean, I've talked about a lot of shit. I mean, it's quite possible it could be a situation I may try to get in, somebody watch what he did and say, oh, well, he did say, you know, fuck those people, and he said he hated these people. He called all the Latins Mexicans, and our Latin fan base may be upset about that. But you know what? If that is what it is what it is, because, you know, I'm not necessarily expecting a situation like that. Like I say, the den and things like that are situations I want to build up from the ground up. But I mean, it's all kind of things that you have to think about before you make those posts, before you take those actions, before you record those behaviors. You know, you have to think about these things. Yeah, it may be funny at the time. It may be funny to you or your small group of friends, but you have to think about the repercussions that could come out on a grand scale in the long term. So I think that's something that you definitely have to consider.
Another thing too is this here. It was some teachers, you know, that put up on whatever social media, I forget what it was. Welcome. It was a Asian teacher. I think she was either in Japan or China, or wherever, and she was welcoming the kids back to school on first day of school with a pole dance.
I heard about that. So what exactly happened with that?
She got fired.
Wow.
And it's like, and I just bring that up because you're talking about social media, but it's also too, when you put things on social media, guess what? It's been a lot of people at my job that didn't get the job because of their social media account. Because even though that you have the right to free speech, ain't nobody stopping you from speaking your free speech, from being you or whatever, but they don't have to hire you because of your free speech. You see what I'm saying? They don't have to hire you. So even though, you know, I tell people all the time, hey, it's your business, your life, you do you. Well, guess what? They can fire you because of it. They don't have to hire you because of it. You might not get a promotion because of it. Whatever you put on there, I don't know, man. I would never drive a Ford in my life. I'm just thinking something off the top of my head, but I'll never drive a Ford in my life. Then guess what? The job you might try to get one day, get a company car, it's nothing but Fords, and they're gonna say, "Oh, wait a minute, I thought you said you didn't like Fords. No, you can't have this car." See what I'm saying? Shit like that. So it's just one of those things that, you know, you got to be careful what you say in life, because nobody's taking away your free speech. Well, they kind of are, but that's a topic for another day. My opinion, they kind of are, but you are still able to say what you want to say. But there can be some repercussions. So you got to think about those things. That's why I say your past can meet your future. Another thing as well, too, a lot of people don't understand, too, like, it's you do you. Like, if you're getting certain tattoos on your body, you know, you can't move up in a company. You can't get a certain job or whatever the case may be, because they're going to think you got gang tattoos or you got some sexually explicit tattoos on you, whatever, things like that. That's why I say you got to think. You know, and I'm not gonna lie. When I was younger, I got a gang of tattoos on me now. I was younger. I didn't think about none of that crap. I kind of wish I would have, because, you know, it stopped me from doing a lot of things. And then, kind of like you said too, I caught a case before too. I mean, I'm not gonna get into specifics of it, but I caught a case before too, and it hinders me from a lot of things, even right now in my life. You know, I didn't think long and hard. That's why I try to tell youngsters now, oh, you did it, so you can't talk. No, I did it so I can talk, because I experienced some things, and I'm trying to tell you, you can't let someone that has never experienced something tell you not to do something, because they don't know. They just going by what they see or hear. You know what I'm saying? Someone that has been through it can tell you what's up, can try to prevent you from doing certain things, because they know that firsthand they experienced it. You know what I'm saying? So when I try to tell people myself, you know, hey, it's your life, you do you, but you might want to reconsider doing these things, because this is just gonna mess you up in the future. And Heidi, thank you for waking up to watch us. I hope you go from half asleep to fully awake. But, you know, I'm just saying, Heidi. But I say this all the time too. I even tell my daughter before she's doing that, I say, think. Do you really want to do this? Think. And sometimes she'll be like, yeah, let me think. Yeah, you right there. I might not. And I tell her, I say, look, don't change your mind because of me. I'm telling you to think long and hard because it might not be what you like or it might not be really what you want just because you see this or it looks good or whatever. Think real. They try to think hard. I'm trying to put it in her head right now to use your brain. Think long and hard about about a lot of decisions you make because you might not like it. Like for example, just do for example, going out to eat. You see the commercials on TV. Oh, that looks good. I'm finna go try that. And once you get there, that shit tastes nasty. You know, oh, I regret this. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we all done it. I've done it myself. I still do it, but it's just one of those things. Just think about it. Are you sure you want to go here? Are you sure you want to do that? You know what I'm saying? Just give an example right there. I know that was probably a dumb example, but just give an example. But that's just one thing I try to tell people. A lot of the crazy decisions, like for example, a lot of these guys having babies all over the place with different women. Guess what? Now your ass on the hook for a whole bunch of child support. Can't keep a roof over your head. Can barely eat. Blah blah blah. Because you thinking, hey, getting you some free pussies, you know, or some good pussy or whatever, or getting a lot of pussy, it's having a lot of fun. But then when you catch some kind of disease or you have all these kids and you can't take care of them, all that crap, that's why I say your past can meet your future. It's a bunch of different things. You know what I'm saying? I can go on and on and on. But it's a bunch of different things that I try to tell people. Do not do or at least think about it. You know what I'm saying? At least think about it. Not to tell you what to do or what not to do, because I'm not that person. Never have been. I like to tell people, look, are you sure you want to buy this car? Are you sure you want to move in this neighborhood? Are you sure you want this? You want to do that? Think. That's what you got a brain for. Think about it. Don't just be in the spur of the moment. Don't let nobody talk you into it, because that can mess you up. It might be good for them, might work out for them in their situation, but it might not work out for you. So that's all. That's basically what I was thinking when I was saying your past can meet your future. It's a bunch of different things. Like I said, not just having making bad decisions like criminal mischiefs or stuff like that. It can be like I said, going out to eat somewhere or buying a car, a house, or getting this kind of job that you think just because it's paying $50 an hour, shit, it might not be the job you want. You know what I'm saying? So that's all. That's kind of what I was getting at when I was saying these things.
Talk about, with the having kids and, being young and things like that, and not thinking about, like you say, get some pussy or whatever it may be, or it could be a female, get some dick or whatever it is. You can put yourself in a situation where, you do bring a life into this world and you make it tougher to develop, to grow. I saw this picture though, and it bugged the fuck out of me. I hate when people do it for the gram or do it for whatever they call it. And I respect the fact that she was growing in life, but I think certain shit you just kind of got to let go. So basically, I think she had a kid young, and so she took a picture, I guess graduating from high school while she's holding her kid. He was young, and then so a couple of years later, she graduated or got a degree, and she's showing her picture, I guess, at her graduation from college or whatever. Then I want to believe she went and got a master's or something like that. And in each of these pictures, she's holding the kid in the same way. And now this kid got a little large. So, she damn near about to break her hip trying to hold this motherfucker up. Like, I understand what you're doing and congratulations, but let it go. You know what I mean? Just say, hey, you know what? I did it when people said I couldn't. I went against the odds and I was successful. But it is what it is. But like you say, those things can make it difficult. A lot of these kids, thinking they're going to have a few minutes of fun sneaking around while their parents ain't home and getting freaky and frisky and fucking around. End up getting pregnant, you having to try to deal with school and a kid. And then it makes it more difficult for you to graduate high school, to go to college, do these things. And people like that tend not to, people already for the most part don't want to take on extra burdens and extra work. And so they look at it like that, where there's no way it's just impossible to have a kid and go to college. When there's a lot of people who've done it successfully. You know, it's a fight. It's not going to be easy. You know, it's definitely, it's not easy just going as it is. It's definitely not going to be easy, you know, when you have a kid. But there's a lot of people who've done it and been successful and had gotten degrees and, you know, improved their lives for them and for their children. Some people have used their children as motivation to be successful, but it's never easy.
Yep.
But a lot of people who fall in that situation, and the overwhelming majority of people who fall into that situation, it can be in college already. They'll drop out or won't go to college at all because, you know, if they graduate high school, they end up, you know, going to Mickey D's, going to whatever one of these places, lacking the education, lacking the ability to teach their children, or even inspire their children to grow up and be better. Some of these people end up envious of their kids. And that's the saddest thing in the world to me. People who end up envious of their children. A lot of times it's the mothers, because it's generally the mothers who are taking care of the kids. Or if they are teenagers, when they get together, it'll be a young family and they don't know how to deal with each other, and they're both uneducated. So that leads to more fights. It leads to more fucking, and they don't know what to do, because when you're uneducated, you really don't have too many options as far as thinking, well, the only thing you know how to do is fuck, watch TV and fuck. You're not obviously not interested in books and things of that nature. So damn, you pop out another kid, and now you got a big uneducated ass family, and you have problems. You know, those type of relationships don't last. And then again, generally, the mother is usually the one burdened with those. If the pop says, you know what, I'm tired of your shit, I'm tired of these shitty diapers, I'm tired of just shit, period. Or if he gets into some shit trying to find a way to make extra money, you know, on the side that may not be the most legitimate method, you know, gets himself in trouble, gets locked up or whatever it may be. Now you have a mother dealing with all these kids, and depending on the length of time that he's gone away, finding somebody else who's not that bright, because if you're not that bright, you're not going to attract somebody who's not that bright, unless you're just a trophy wife or something like that. But 9 times out of 10, if you got a fucking troop of kids with you, you're not going to be anybody's trophy wife. There ain't too many people on the planet Earth looking for a motherfucking instant generation of family or whatever that is. You know, it may be some, but not all. But so you start to limit your options when you start making bad decisions, and that's just something you got to think about. For every bad decision you make, you limit your options. It can start with me eating fucking a box of cookies or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm limiting my options as far as trying to get that goddamn 6-pack. Now I'm stepping back. You know what I'm saying? My past has met my future. I want the 6-pack, but I ate over a 6-pack of cookies, and now I'm further away from my goddamn destination. But, you know, it is what it is, man. And so all I'm saying is that you have to make good decisions. And, you know, sometimes people think, well, you know, I got away with something. Yeah, you might have got away with something at that time. Or you may have felt like you got away, maybe because you don't receive that punishment in that moment. Life has a way of coming back and getting your ass. And it may not be that exact scenario. So sometimes when people, bad things happen to them, they're like, oh, why me? You know, I don't do anything. I'm always doing the right thing. But they tend to overlook all the negative that they didn't get caught up for and, you know, justify it. You know, sometimes when shit just happens, I say, you know what? There's been a situation or two in my life that, you know, I got away with cleanly and nothing happened, you know, so what, I have to take this L, or I have to take this problem and be okay with that, because, you know, sometimes I did win, sometimes you do lose, but you have those people who can't accept the losses, who can't accept the responsibility that it's their fault that they're in the situation that they're in, and they always have a finger to point or blame at somebody else, and wonder why they stay in that situation. But again, you know, every decision, your past could be as little as yesterday. Your future could be as soon as tomorrow. So, I mean, you have a very valid point in what you're saying, man. And so I agree with that. But I'm just saying, I saw Tyler say something about, I think you were talking about kids earlier. Elena, Ayalana, I don't know what it is. Saved my life. I've heard it. I think I heard of that. Something saved my life or fixed my life or something like that. One of them shows.
Ayana fixed my life. My wife watches that.
Okay.
Ayana fixed my life.
You said this dude down there had 34 kids by 20 different women. What kind of shit is that? Like
Georgia.
Well, that makes sense. It makes sense. Like, how do you get in a fucking situation like that? How do you, and exactly say, I'm okay, like, oh, all the ones after baby mama too. Exactly, like, especially if these women knew that this man had children. And,
a lot of them did know.
And they didn't care. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you have these women who think, well, I'm going to be the one that changes. Well, guess what? He still got the other motherfucking kids. Just because you finna have, don't mean that you go, if he not fucking with these kids, or if he is got these kids in his life, or whatever it may be, what are you going to do that's going to benefit that situation other than take on some of that burden. You know what I mean? Or be stepmama number 19, 20, 15, you know, say, bitch, take a number. Look, you gonna see your kids today, bitch, look, you gonna have to pull a ticket, bitch, you know what I'm saying? I got 3 days in a weekend, you know what I'm saying? It ain't even got enough days in the month of months. I mean, fucking weekends in a month. You gotta say you got Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You know, you got about 4 weekends per month. You got about 12 days. You don't even, I hope, you know, some of these, you say what 13 by 20? Shit. Nah, you still ain't got enough. You know what I mean? Shit, you got 20 different women. That means, you know, that's 20 different sets of children. Some of them with multiple, some of them with only one. You ain't got enough time in the fucking month. You gotta fucking take 2-month reservations on when to see your damn kids if you're gonna see them at all. What kind of shit is that? Good grief, man.
That's the shit I'm talking about too, man. That's the kind of shit I'm talking about, man. It's like, that's why I say making good decisions. Because guess what? A lot of those kids resent him. A lot of those women resent him. They fighting each other and stuff. It's like, first of all, why they fighting each other? That don't make no sense to me, but whatever. That's another thing. But then, here's the thing. This man, I think it was like 22 women. And it was like 36 kids. And she drew, I remember watching that episode, she drew a chart. She was like, okay, this woman has 3, this woman has 1, this woman has 2, this woman has 2, this woman has 3, on and on and on. And I'm like, how in the hell was this man having all these kids? You know he was cheating on all these women. There's no possible way that he wasn't.
Yeah.
Because I want to say he was like 43 years old or some shit like that.
Yeah.
So there's no way you could say you with one woman at a time. That's impossible. So you had to be cheating. And then what kills me is this, like you just said, how you going to remember all these kids are yours? You ain't going to remember that kid from way over there because you ain't going to see him all the time. And then here's the crazy part about it is, you know how sometimes, you know, you might run to somebody and later on find out they're your family and shit like that?
Yeah.
What if one of them kids do that? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because there's no way you could tell me all these kids know each other. There's no way you could tell me that.
Nice.
Because some of the mothers didn't want to have anything to do with him and his other kids. So what if them kids meet up, because they all in Georgia? Well, I don't know if they still is, but at the time they was. So what if they all meet up? What if one of them meet up with each other, you know, hook up, get to know each other, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Then come to find out later on that they didn't have a kid or two themselves, that they brother and sister. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I mean, you talking about Georgia, that's more than likely to happen, shit. In the country ass Georgia, goddamn.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. You got to think when you're having these decisions, you know what I'm saying? And you having all these kids out there. And then guess what? He's on what? Then let's think about this right here. I know there's some kind of law. I forget exactly how it's worded, but you can only get a certain percentage of your earnings.
Mm-hmm.
The kids, you know, they're gonna have to divide that up.
Yeah.
But what if one of these motherfuckers one day decide to put him on child support? Just think of all that money that's gonna come out of his household.
Boy, gonna be broke. He gonna be working for nothing.
His paycheck gonna say, "Motherfucker, you owe me. I don't owe you nothing. You owe me."
Yeah. Come back to work. You ain't getting paid. Shit, but you might as well live here. You ain't finna look. You ain't getting nothing. But I mean, that's wild. That's a bit. But people don't think about that. And that's my thing. And that's the one thing I said, man. I don't have any biological, but I tell you, about the little one that I treat it like it's my own. Any way that I would approach my own child, that's the same way I see it, and that's how I look at it, because I feel like you shouldn't be, a part of somebody's life if they have children and you can't do that. And you see a lot of people who do that. We can look back at the Adrian Peterson situation. That's why I say a lot of these women who, especially with these athletes, are trash, because I think that you have to make some distance before you really got to get to know a dude, before you just bring him around your kids, because she had the dude watching the kid, doing all that, and he ended up beating the kid to death or whatever. That was a few years back with Adrian Peterson's kid. There was another one like that. But my thing is, if I was to have my own biological child or not, I don't understand how you're not a part of your child's life. That's you. I mean, that's you neglecting a part of yourself. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And not want to be a part of seeing that develop and grow and be better than you. You know, and that's what I was kind of
Oh
referring
yeah.
to when I was talking about the people who, you know, are uneducated and they have a bunch of kids. A lot of those single mothers, they don't even encourage their daughters to be better. They put their children on a path of ratchetness and trash because they don't want their kids to be better than them. And that's sad. That's unfortunate. It's a lot of, what was that fucking movie with the fat women? Fucking Precious. You know, it's a lot of precious moms out there. Don't really want you to be better. They don't want you to be shit. They want to get what they can get out of you and, you know, move on. It's a lot of women who use these kids as a check or whatever because they unhappy with their situation. It's a lot of them encourage, you know, to go, you know, go fool around, go fuck with this dude, go fuck with that dude, get caught up, trap him, get pregnant. You know, he got money, go let him take care of you. It's a lot of motherfuckers who encourage that type of behavior because they don't know any better. They don't see any better for themselves. They wish that's what they would have done. And
yeah.
But I mean, and it's sad. But like I said, again, I don't understand people who you could, oh damn, I didn't realize, okay, that you could have a child, be a man, have a child, and not want to be a part of that child's life, you know, and it's awful. Regardless of the mother or not, you got to put up with certain shit to be able to see your child, and I know it can be hectic. And I know some of these motherfuckers make it bad, and then some of them I can understand. Some of them just go over the top because you may not be in love with them anymore or whatever. So they make you jump through hoops, hurdles, do backflips, put on a whole fucking circus act to see your child. And I know that can be exhausting. But if she's giving you the opportunity to see your child and making it, you know, accessible, but you just bumming and not want to do that,
let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there.
Okay.
This is one thing I was taught by an uncle of mine. There's no such thing as she gives you the opportunity.
Yeah.
We want to know why? Because you're a full-time parent just like she's a full-time parent. She has no more rights than you just because she had the baby physically come out of her. She has no more rights than you.
Yeah.
So when people say, well, she didn't let me see my child, there's no such thing. There's no such thing. I had to figure that out myself, you know, from previous relationship, you know, my oldest son. I had to figure that out. Oh, and Balin Rios, or however you say your name, I don't know why you're trying to fight me, but I'm just going to leave it at that. Don't let these glasses fool you, is all I'm saying. And I'm just going to leave it alone. I ain't going to say nothing else. But I'm going to let you go and run your mouth. But anyway, but yeah, with my oldest son, you know, the mother of my oldest son tried that crap. No. And I was like, no, I listened to what the old folks told me, and that's true. There's no such thing unless the courts deem you to give whoever majority custody or full custody or however the case may be, whatever the case may be, different story. But there's no such thing as she lets you. You have as much right as she do. So any of you guys out there, trust me. Don't go through that. Trust me. So I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna leave it at that. But anyway, but that's the one thing that I was saying too. I was thinking about that too as well too. I was watching something with the wife, and I always ask every time I watch something with her, what do these people do for a living? Because all you see on these reality shows, these talk shows, whatever, they talking crap. They always talking about how they doing this, they making money, but you never see them at work. You never see them talking about work, nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I would say, what do they do for a living? All they do is just start messing with each other. I mean, what's going on? They don't have no life or nothing. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I be thinking too. Like, a lot of these parents do use their kids, like living through their kids, I should say, as if, you know what I'm saying, this is what they wanted or should have done or made a better decision. You know, shit like that. And I be saying that too. It's like, let your child be the child. If your child wants to do this or do that, your position as a parent is to guide them, help them make right decisions in life until they mature enough to get on their own. And really, you're still a parent. You got to help them then too. But while they living with you, your job as a parent is to guide them, help them make good decisions in life. That's your job as a parent. Nothing more, nothing less. Yeah, you're going to love your kid. You're going to be there. You're going to provide, blah, blah, blah. That's what you're supposed to do. But your main thing as a parent is to sit them down, keep them on a straight, narrow path, And they try to break right or break left, let them know, hey, this is what's over here on your left. This is what's over here on your right. Are you sure you want to do that? And if they say no, 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 then you just, keep them on a straight, narrow path. And shit like that. So, but at the same time, though, when I be watching these things, I'll be like, I can't watch this crap no more. This is just dumb to me. I'm losing brain cells watching this shit. For real, it's like I feel dumber and dumber every time I watch this stuff. I mean, I try to watch it with my wife. Watch what she's watching sometimes because she watches what I watch. You know what I'm saying? So I try to give that back to her, but at the same time, it's like I can only do so much of this dumbness, man. I just can't do it. So I'm always asking. I'm like, what is the point of this crap? Like for example, I kid you not, this is what really made me just say, you know what, I'm done watching this stuff. About a week or so ago, probably not even a week, but about a week ago, my wife was watching Keep It Up with the Kardashians. The mom, I forgot her name, but the mom, she was watching something on her security cameras, and some guy was in her kitchen doing something. And one of the girls came in and said, oh, that might be a plumber. And she was like, what plumber wears a Rolex? And to me right there, that's very insulting. Just because he's a plumber, he can't buy a Rolex? You know what I'm saying? That is very, very insulting. So I'll say, what? I can't watch this shit no more, man. I can't do that no more. How you gonna insult a man just because he's a plumber? If he's your plumber and other people's plumber, he more than likely got the money to buy a Rolex. You know what I'm saying? Or he might want to go live beyond his means to buy a Rolex. Or he probably was handed down to him. You never know how somebody got something. Just because of their job don't mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what made me say, what? I can't watch that crap no more, man. I just can't do it. But Flavor. Oh, okay. Hey, Braylon said you muted. Braylon, Braylon said you muted. They
Oh,
can
you
only hear
say?
me.
Okay, well, oops, look, I am muted. I was saying, but what I was saying, I muted myself. Well, forget y'all. Y'all ain't deserve to hear what I had to say. No, but I was just basically talking about that with the reality TV shows, man. It's so hard to watch because of, the scripting, and the last I was really watching was the Flavor of Love. That's what it was called.
Yeah, Flavor Love.
Yeah, a Flavor of Love. That's what it was called. I was really trying tough to try to figure out what it was. I was just Flavor Flav House and everything else. But the Flavor Flav and he was probably on that shit to himself at that time. But that's neither here nor there. But what I was saying is that they had the little casting call and they were showing the women in basically different races of women, majority black. What they were willing to do to get on. They had them saying stuff, doing just goofy shit, in the little casting calls, which did not happen to be at some private hotel. We did not happen to be at some in some motel that, hey, I'm in the shower, come read some lines to me. That's why I say all these women who get caught up in that goofy shit at Hollywood shit, it's always suspect that it's always the same shit. They don't make those decisions. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about here. And just the ignorance, the level of stupidity that they were willing to stoop to just to hope to get on the show. And then what it made me do is it's just like I laughed at the ones who end up not making it on because you did all that dumb shit, embarrassed yourself. You still got put on TV and embarrassed, and didn't even make the show. You know what I mean? And so, sure, didn't get paid too much or anything, probably if a couple $100 or whatever it may have been. But it's wild what people are willing to do for some fame. But while we're mentioning that, let me go ahead and open up, because I did say when we get halfway through, I would open up the den line so that you guys can call in. And again, if you want to talk about your past meeting your future, if you want to talk about, whatever's on your mind. Again, the den line is always open. It's always free conversation, but, we prefer you to, ask things pertinent to the topic of the evening. But if you have something else on your mind, you have a question or something that you want to discuss, figure out, you're trying to get right in life, then we'll do our best to offer, relevant advice. But let me see what we got going here. Got a couple stuff, one thing going on. But what I'm saying is that what I'm saying though is that these shows and the way they exploit people and the way that they take advantage of people, again, desperate people who are willing. Okay, we got a call coming in here on the den line. Let's see what we got. All right. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling in on the den line this evening?
This is Jason S.
Jason S. How are you doing this evening? What would you like to drop in the den?
Well, first off, just want to say I'm doing good. Thank you, Honcho. Also, what's up, man up? Sorry for bailing, trying to challenge you and all that other stuff. Don't do that. But I wanted to kind of talk about past and future of music.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, music has a special place in my heart. And I think the future of music is kind of questionable. But the past of music, it's all I need.
Okay. Now, I've seen you share some things, and you do seem to have a taste for some of the more, depending on your opinion, classic. Some people say classic, some people say older. Some people consider classical just, the more instrument-based music. And when you say, older things, what do you refer? Are you referring more like the classic rock? Are you thinking more like actual classical, the Beethoven and all that type of stuff? I mean, what are you referring to more specifically when you're talking about older music? And then an example of where you're saying the direction of current music.
What's my favorite genre of music?
Yes, your favorite genre.
It kind of ranges. Sometimes I usually listen to alternative, like 2000s alternative, 1990s alternative, kind of Matchbox 20 sometimes. One of my favorite oldies is "Stand by Me" by Ben E. King.
Okay. What makes that, if you don't mind me asking, what makes that one of your favorites? Is it something specific about that particular song that makes it stand out to you or stand by you?
Can you repeat that, please?
I said, is there a particular thing about that song? Is there a significance about that song that makes it one of your favorites? I mean, what is it about that song that, that draws you to it?
I guess it's kind of the way it sounds.
Okay. And what do you think about, music these days? A lot of this more modern music. I think I've actually started to kind of get away from it. More of the trap stuff is different, but I know that there was a spell when music was sampling heavily off of the more classic sounds. How do you feel about, sampling modern music, sampling more classical music? Do you think that's appreciation for older music, or do you see that as just lazy copy and paste production? How do you feel about that?
I will admit, I do kind of listen to some new music.
There's nothing wrong with listening to new music. Nothing wrong with that at all. But how do you feel about sampling music though? I mean, that's my thoughts. Like some of the newer stuff that samples old music. How do you feel about sampling? Do you think it's bad? Do you think it's a lack of creativity, or I mean, do you have a personal feeling about it?
How do I feel about new music?
Yes, newer music sampling older songs. You know, using kind of similar beats and things of that nature, similar sounds.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, if you don't, ain't nothing wrong with that.
I don't know. I don't know what you said.
Okay, so what I mean by sampling, when someone says, sampling is like, say, I'm trying to think that Jay-Z used that, was that Chicago? What was that, 9 to 5 or something like that? I can't remember the damn song, how it goes. But that we're taking over, come on, when he used that in that diss on Nas. But it's I want to say it's an old Chicago song. And, but he used it, and kind of put a few extra sounds around it and sampled that to make it into a newer beat. So I'm saying, do you oppose people taking older music, adding a couple of slight changes to it and calling it something new? How do you feel about that?
I still don't know what you said. The sound of the sound of the call is like it's kind of scratchy.
Do I sound better if I talk to you here?
Yes.
Okay, well here, let me adjust.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you're like in an uncomfortable position.
No, I'm just
like,
trying to
talking to me like that.
But no, man. I mean, it actually works better, so I know exactly where the audio works best for those who are receiving the call. So that way,
Okay.
All right. So what I'm saying is sampling. How do you feel about people who sample music?
I'm kind of okay with it. I mean, knowing that some people like sample like old tunes, it's kind of cool.
Okay. Do you see that as a sign of appreciation for older music?
Sometimes.
Okay.
It depends.
Okay. Well, that's a bit. Well, I appreciate you calling in, Jason S. We had a couple other calls, so we're going to get to some of those. But I appreciate you bringing up that topic. And I'm actually ask Man Up a couple of things with his opinion on that. But I appreciate the call. Thank you for calling.
All right. Love you, Man Up.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, what about you, Man Up? I mean, how do you feel about let me make sure that stays really clear. How do you feel about sampling music? How do you feel about people? Well, first we got a call real quick, and then I'll get your thoughts on that. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling in on the Denline this evening?
Hey, this is T'Challa.
How you doing this evening, T'Challa?
I'm doing pretty good. I just wanted to say 3 things about the topic. The first thing I want to tell you guys is I think this is a really cool show. It's particularly you guys have some interesting topics, so kudos to you guys for that. The second thing I wanted to say was I agree with Manup's point that it's when he was talking about raising children, that it is important that that you see parenting as getting them prepped for adulthood. It's not about kissing their ass or trying to be their friend. And I think that's what a lot of parents do. They try to be their kids' friends. And that's where you see a lot of the wretchedness and some of the other things that you were talking about. And that's something that I had to also learn on my parental journey as well, that my job ultimately is to prep my child for adulthood. And it really does start when they're young. It's kind of too late to get started once they hit puberty because they're pretty much already set in their ways at that point. The third thing I wanted to say was Manup was talking about with his oldest son that he had to go through some challenges with the mother of his child, not wanting him to see his son. And so if you don't mind, if it's not too personal for you, can you share how you overcame that? Because it is a lot of men who deal with that and choose to stay away from the parent and the child because of the drama and things associated with the mother trying to extort money in exchange for seeing the child and things of that nature. So will you be able to elaborate on that?
Sure, I can elaborate on that one. Basically, I'm not going to get too personal on the thing, but basically, what all it is that a lot of people likes to. I don't like to categorize this because I don't want to seem like I'm sexist or anything like that. But I'm just speaking from my personal experience. Let me just put that out there first. But what I've learned over the years is that when older people talk, you listen. And of course, I was younger. I did not do that. But once I got a little bit older, I started, to listen. So one thing I was always taught was, no matter what, when it comes to your child, keep your receipts. No matter how old they are, no matter what's on them, if it's for your child, keep the receipts. So, and you pretty much know where I'm going with that. Another thing is this here. One thing I was always taught, if you give up what you're trying to do, not only is your child going to lose out, you're going to lose out, and then also, too, you can look like a failure to your child. So, of course, I don't want to look like that, for my oldest son. So, so when I was going through, kind of a long story short, and like I said, I'm not going to go to the details, but when I was going through a lot of things that I was going through, my son actually is kind of now, well, right now he's an adult, but at that time he was coming of age. He started to see a lot of things on his own, and he started to realize things on his own. So he started asking his mom a bunch of questions that she really couldn't answer, and she really couldn't sit there and tell him the truth on everything. So he come to me one day, so asked me questions. I said, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna bash your mom or nothing like that because I'm not going to get anything out of it. So as he got of an age and stuff like that, and I was going through a lot of things, trying to be in his life on a constant basis and, whatever, he kind of put two and two together himself a little bit as he got a little older. So, and things like that started to develop in his brain, and things like that started to, I guess you could say, work in my favor. So I'm trying not to use certain words here, and certain phrases, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure you can read between the lines what I'm saying. But at the same time, that's why I always say to guys, if y'all going through situations, fight your ass off. Fight your ass off. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be worth it. You're going to love it. And you're going to have this wonderful feeling. Don't give up just because she's the mother. You have as much rights as she does. And she has as much rights as he does. So no matter what, guys, do not give up. Unless a court deemed one of y'all to be unfit or whatever the case may be, you have just as much right. Both of y'all have just the equal rights to that child because the child wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him and her. That's it.
And that's a very, very valid point. And I want to say shout out to Jason S. and Mrs. Teachholler for calling in. And she used a very interesting word when she said that. And it's a thing that I think it's a word that should be associated with what a lot of these women do to make men see their children. And that's extort, because that's exactly what it is. It's extortion. I'm going to make you, you need to do this, this, and this to see your child. I want a certain amount of money, and your kid needs this. And half time, I don't want to say half time the kid won't need it, but I've seen situations where women have said, oh, your kid needs this, this, and this. You need to give me some money for this. And the father will go and actually buy what it is that the child needs. And then she'll come up with another excuse or try to say, oh, well, we're making a deal about the money. And it's not that the kid necessarily needs something. It's because she needs some money for something to benefit herself, and it's a game. It's almost like a long con. And it's unfortunate that, that there are people on this planet, this country, you know, and I'm sure elsewhere. I don't know if the laws necessarily favor them in that way, who will use children for their own personal advantage. And I mean, it's almost just as bad as any other situation involving children. You know, they're innocent up until a certain point, you know, until they get corrupted, usually by some twisted adult. But there are people who will use a child for their own gain, for their own benefit. And I find that extremely, extremely sad, you know. And so I thought that was an excellent word. That hit I won't say it hit a nerve because I don't have any children, but there's some of the things that I see when she used the word extort. I mean, like, that's a very powerful word. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Let me give you a story that happened to a good friend of mine. God rest his soul. He's died now. You know, he died a few years ago of cancer. Let me give you a story that happened to him one time. He was going through a situation trying to be with his kids. He would always go over to the mother's house, you know, try to be with his kids. And she didn't ever want him over, talk bad about him, blah, blah, blah. But he kept coming over, trying to be with his kids. He called the police on him every time that he came over. To that final time, the police said, look, if you come over, I'm going to charge you with trespassing. So it got to the point to where he couldn't even see his kids, because if he did go over, he'd be going to jail. And that's crazy. And that was crazy. And the sad thing about it is, like I just said, he died of cancer a few years ago. Now his kids don't even know who he is because of his mom.
That's a real tough situation, man. But
and that's why I say, guys, I know it looks like it's never in your favor, but it is. We as men, which I don't understand why, we just have to work harder to be with our kids, you know. But another thing that I like to say is this here. Like I say, I was once young and I didn't listen. This is what made me listen. I'm going to give y'all a true story. This is what made me start listening to the young folk. I mean, to the old folks, excuse me, not the young folks. But this is what made me start listening to the old folk. One day I was with the mother of my child just before my son was born. Well, no, he was born, but he was a baby. He was, 4 months, whatever. And me and the mother, you know, we was at the mall one day. She got up, go to the restroom because we was in the food court eating. She got up, go to the restroom. And this old man that was sitting a couple of tables away from us, he looked at me. He said, in about 2 weeks, you're going to catch her cheating on you. I was like, what? Never seen this man before in my life. How come on my birthday, I come home from work? That's when I used to work at Compact Computers, and I used to work at Astro. I had 2 jobs at that one time. It was on my birthday. Come home from work. Why do I see her fucking another man in my house with my son's crib right there next to our bed, and my son was sitting there watching them going at it? And once I was heated. Once I calmed down, I thought about what that old man said to me, and I was like, damn. And that's what made me start really paying attention to what old people say. Because you just don't know. You just don't know. And that's why that's why I came up with this topic, your past can meet your future. And because, like I said before, I know these youngsters are not going to listen. Like I said, I was young. I didn't listen, so I get it. But if you do one day listen, please listen to some old folks that been down that road, because they can tell you what's up. Now, I'm not saying just go and sit in their lap like they're Santa Claus and pay attention to them. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying you just don't know, because sometimes, you don't know when or where or how someone's going to tell you something. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've never seen this old man before in my life. Didn't even know who the hell he was. But he said that to me. I was like, man, I ain't going to say exactly what I said, but I was like, man, whatever, And I swear for God, like a week later or something like that. Well, I forget exactly when it was he said it, but I know it was on my birthday when I called him. See what I'm talking about?
That shit right there is just, like I said, we ain't even gotta rehash that story too much. But I seen somebody saying that You know, bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. I mean, it depends on what you get, but then it's a lot of them. I mean, it's an overwhelming majority. But again, you got to think about yourself as bad shit. Some of us ain't shit either, and you got to accept that. You know, I done had my ain't shit moments. I done been the nigga on the other end of that situation, and I think that's kind of what made me realize some things. You know, and I say, you know, there was times that I didn't give too much of a fuck. I was doing some wild ass shit, and it made me think about kind of the character that I was. It was a chick who, you know, we ain't even gonna get into that story, not tonight, but definitely I was up to some shenanigans and then did some shenanigan things, and again, they had no, just some of these motherfuckers don't have no shame, and it's just like, goddamn, I could tell you stories back when I was about fucking 13 or 14. So I mean, this is just. It is a lot of crazy. We got a call coming in. We're going to take this. I guess I missed the call. I apologize. Whoever that was calling, call back in, man. And we'll definitely take the call because I forget the Denline. It cuts a little bit shorter than it cuts a little bit shorter than the other line. I see Phoenix in here talking crazy. Say, remember, Kings is not cheating if you don't like her. Oh my God. Eating ain't cheating. Well, yeah, they say what with females, you know, sucking dick is like a handshake. So, I mean, maybe they see things a little bit differently. That's why I say, you know, they say friends. All right, we got a call. Let's see. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling in on the Denline this evening?
It's Edmund.
Edmund, how you doing? How you doing this evening, Edmund?
Doing good.
Good. What you want to drop in the den tonight, Mr. Edmund?
I wanted to ask, you know, you and Man Up, you know, dealing with, you know, how females can have tendencies to cheat. Do you think men are also in the same line as, you know, them cheating? Do you think there's a double standard between men and females when it comes to, you know, cheating?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm not even going to let him finish that question. I'm finna answer. Yeah. And I hate those. I'm like Honcho. I like fairness. And I'm not talking about fairness in a man's favor. No, I'm talking about fairness across the board. Yes, it is a double standard. If a woman having sex with a lot of men, she's a hoe. If a man having sex with a lot of women, he gets high five. Yeah, man, you hit that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. He's a hoe too. Yeah. He's a hoe too. Yeah. So, and look, hey, so you know what? Like that's like I said, I preach fairness a lot, and I think that it's not fair for a woman when she wants to be out there having sex and she gets labeled as a hoe, a prostitute, a slut, or whatever, but the man don't. Yeah. He's a hoe too. Yeah. I'm sorry, that's just how I see it. I'm not saying this to be I'm a guy and it's cool. No, we all right. No. It goes both ways. Look, we shouldn't be out there doing whatever. Guess what? She can have a lot of kids, catch a disease. So can he. You know what I'm saying? So you all got to be smart in what you're doing. That's just plain and simple. We all got to be smart. See what I'm saying? So once, excuse me. I mean, and it's a bunch of different things out there that I don't think is fair that's in a man's favor. I don't think that's fair that's in a woman's favor. You know what I'm saying? I'm like Honcho. He said it all the time. I preach fairness. I've always been that way. I grew up around a bunch of freaking women, and I will see it every freaking day. How it's okay for this here on this end, but it's not okay on that end. Yeah. So. And I don't think it's fair, and I just think we as the people need to change that. But as you could probably see, it's not going that direction. It's going to where it's favorable on this end or it's favorable on that end. So and I just think it needs to be fair straight down the line. For example, I'm just going to put it out there. I'm not going to use certain words because I don't want to get Honcho's string flagged or nothing. But I'm going to put it like this: I'm watching this thing with Kevin Hart called Part of the City, where he tries to get underground comedians a shot, at mainstream. And it was this one comedian up there, talking about, black history and stuff like that, black people this, black people that, talking bad about white. Well, I ain't gonna say talking bad, but making fun of white people and stuff like that. And I was just thinking in my head, I said, you know what? It's funny that you can sit up there and do that. But if a white person was to do that, then we'll be calling them racist. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't find that funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about. It's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And so that's that. It's kind. I know I'm kind of getting off your question, but just kind of answering by it being fair. I'm more fair, straight down the middle. Not that way, not this way, not in my favor, not in your favor. No, I think how it should be. Look, we both should win. We both should eat the same amount. We both should get the same amount of sleep. We both should make the same amount of money. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
If you put it in the work, well, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of getting off. But you get what I'm saying. But it should be straight down the middle, no matter what. But it's not like that, and I think it's stupid. It sucks. So to kind of get back to your question about women cheating, yeah, women cheat just as much as men. It's just that who said this? I think Bruce said this one time. He said women cheat just as much as men. Women just don't get caught because they think more than men. Mm-hmm. He gave an example. He said when a man cheats, he cheats with next door neighbor coworker, wonder how his woman found out. But if a woman cheats, she's cheating with someone across town, out of town. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And you could wake up in the middle of the night, see your girl, she looking right at you. That's what he said. It cracked me up. And you be like, damn, you ain't sleep. She said, hell no, I'm thinking about something.
Yeah.
I can't get away with this shit.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I remember that.
But it's true, though. It's true, though. It's true, though. You know what I'm saying? I just had to throw that joke out there because that was funny as hell when I first heard that. But yeah, but that's just my answer. I think it should be fair, straight down the middle.
Yeah, and absolutely, I agree, man. And that's why I say, I preach fairness. I feel like, the standards when I say certain things about women, I get a bad rap, but I view them just as equal. You know what I mean? And I appreciate the call, Edmund. I view them just as equal, but I feel like, the same standards should be held, for men. But my thing is also, it is. I mean, and that's why I say it's people. It doesn't even matter about the sex. It's a certain type of person is going to do a certain type of thing. Like you said, there's men hoes, there's women hoes. Now I'm sure there's some other fucking pronouns they trying to get motherfuckers to use that I'm not going to use, and they some hoes too, goddamn. But all I'm saying is this, man. It's a certain type of person is going to participate in a certain type of activity. I see, T'Challa talking about. I think every time it says hi, the thing automatically says hi. So whatever the den is telling you hi, it's just, I think it's the bot that is fucking just doing whatever. Talking about alcoholics, crackheads, and hood rats don't teach respect to children. Absolutely. I think, when people go out and try to get trophy wives, they're not good mothers of children. I don't know why dudes think that that's a cool thing. I'm just going to get a, good looking bitch. She's going to be the mother of my children. If there's nothing wrong with getting an attractive woman to be the mother of your children, as long as she can provide value too. So, I mean, if all she's known is to be a user and all she do is fuck with guys with a certain level of money and that's going to be the type of shit that gets instilled into your children. What I'm saying is that you want to find somebody of a certain accord, but then again, it's all a gamble. It's all a crapshoot because you don't know. You never know. And with this day and age that we have, and I say it's kind of funny because I think accessibility nowadays is what makes people cheat more so than ever. And I'm not saying people back then, we talked about it in the den before. People back then, they were cheating. I mean, they were, but it was with, the milkman coming through, old buddy at work, but old buddy at work, he might be cheating with the secretary or, it's shit like that. But now the accessibility social media gives you and stuff like that. Again, I told you about from just running little bullshit ass Instagram accounts. So I can only imagine what these instant thoughts really be on, and a motherfucker be offering money to do this, that, and the third, or that you got access to somebody DMs or they whatever it may be, and they doing this, that, and the third, and they may be local. So I mean, it's just that I don't know what it is. My thing at this point, because like I said, man, I told you I wasn't always of the most stand up character. I got plenty of shit I still got to work on, but as far as the infidelity, fornication, so that's something that, again, I had to start valuing myself and realizing that, look, this dick is worth something. You know what I'm saying? I can't just be throwing this shit all around town. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers getting addicted, you know, to it. And then you got to deal with that because there's a lot of other problems that come with that type of shit, man. Motherfuckers catch feelings and, you know, try to fuck up what you got going on and other things like that. You have to be happy and comfortable in yourself because a lot of people who cheat because they're not happy with themselves. And so they thinking, you know, this other person going to fulfill them, or, you know, they listen to somebody else gas their head up with some tomfoolery through phone messages or, if, like I say now, social medias or whatever. And they thinking that, oh, well, you know, my situation would just be better if I was with this person, but they're only experiencing the sexual aspect of it. But then you see some of these situations where a person is in a relationship, they end that relationship, go get into a relationship with the person that they had an affair with and become miserable. Because basically you just left one situation for the same thing because you didn't work on yourself. You just thought that because, you know, the sexual affair was entertaining or that the sex was good for the moment that, you know, the whole relationship will be. Well, when a motherfucker only has to deal with you part-time, only has to deal with you temporarily, you know, you fucking and then you leaving, it's a different situation. But then when you have to take on the full experience of dealing with someone, it's a whole different scenario. And so I think that a lot of people don't think about that. A lot of people get caught up in the fantasy, you know, and they it's like having an affair it creates that fantasy for them, that lustful encounter that some people just they need, or maybe they're not happy in their current sexual relationship, and you know somebody else may do it for them. I mean, it's a lot of factors that go into it, but men are hoes, women are hoes. I mean, a hoe is just a hoe, and it can be a man hoe, and again, like you have, you know, like I tell you, there's different type of women. I mean, it can be applied to there's different types of men too. You know, I tell you, there's ladies, there's hoes, and there's bitches. You have gentlemen, you have hoes, dick man hoes. I don't know what you would call them if they get their own designated term. And you got bitch ass niggas. You know what I'm saying? And bitch ass niggas do bitch like things. You know, the same way a bitch will try to tell you one thing, but she trying to set you up for okie doke. A bitch ass nigga will do the same thing. He'll act like he want to whoop you, and then as soon as you get close enough, he'll call the cops on you, or he'll yell for the police, or just whatever. It's different types of people. There's different categories of people. So when I say these things, it's not exclusive to one particular sex or anything. But I'm usually speaking on one particular sex. But like Man Up said, man, it's fairness. Everybody can get it. You know, it's angles for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, when I talk about races, that's why I don't look at, oh, you know, white people did this and Asians do it. There's just a class of people within these different classifications of people. So there's a certain type of classier white person, a certain type of trashy white person, certain type of classier black person, certain type of trashy black person, Asian, classy, trashy, Mexican, y'all all Mexicans if you Latin, but classy, trashy. You know, I got to lump you. There's too many of y'all. Y'all got too much shit going on. If you make tamales and burritos, even if it's a different name, it look like a tamale or burrito, you're a Mexican, and you got classy and you got trashy, or whatever ethnicities or nationalities it may be. And I think we're too stuck on all that shit, looking for the little differences to realize, hey, we all do the same motherfucking shit. I mean, when it comes down to it, we all do the same shit, man or woman, black, white, pink, purple, gray, orange, blue, magenta. You know, everybody does dirt, and then you got people who are of certain whatever backgrounds that do great things. And I think that is what it is, man. And people they get away from that. They try to lump people. It's fun to generalize and lump people, but that's not the case, man. You know what I'm saying? It's not the case.
I got one here. Edman asked me a question earlier. I told him I'll answer it. I didn't want to interrupt you. He said, question for Man Up. Do you think marriage is still for people now in this society, or has too many things changed to the point where marriage is just to get another person's property or money? Well, to go ahead and answer that depends on the person in today's society. Because for example, I think that was Britney Spears. I could be wrong, but I think it was her that was only married for like a week and then got a divorce. It's like, seriously, really? What's the point? But then you can find someone, like I said, I've been with my wife for 10 years. You know, it's going on 11. In a few more months, it'll be 11 years. So it just depends on that person that you're with, if y'all have a good connection. And it depends on what that person's mindset is, because some people's not out for your money or your property. So it just all depends, you know, on, you know, the connection there, the person that you're trying to, you know, spend your life with, you know, whatever. So I could answer your question both ways, say yes and no, but that's kind of hard to say because, or like, for example, you know, back in the day, when grandma and grandpa got married, 9 times out of 10, they were married for life until death did them part.
Yeah.
Nowadays, these kids get married, be just for show, just for fun or whatever, or just to get what they can get. But you still sometimes will find someone that, that really want to be with someone. You know, that's what. Because like I said it plenty of times before on Honcho Stream, and I said it again. I know I'm not the easiest person to live with. My wife been putting up with me for all this time. She deserves a platinum award putting up with me. But it's just the honest to God truth. You know what I'm saying? So it just all depends. You know, if y'all got a good connection, you know, if you treating each other right, things like that. Because it could, you know, be a good thing if you get married today. It could have been a bad thing if you got married yesterday. So it just really depends on the connection and the person that you're with. So I hope that answered your question. But it's just not that easy to answer unless Honcho could probably put in a better answer than I can.
Man, I mean, I don't necessarily know how to phrase it. Let me go back and look at the exact question to make sure that, you know, we be on the same thing. Because I thought I saw it, and I see some of this other stuff going on at these tomfooleries in the chat. You're saying do you think marriage is still for people now in this society, or has too many people things changed? The point of marriage is just to get this. I think, man, again, there's genuine people, and they're like you said, you know, back then, hey, people got married, they stayed married. Now, were they unhappy in certain situations? Yeah, but they made it work. We talked about in one of the dens that the relationships that actually do better in the long term are people, those arranged marriages that I don't know if it's what the Hindu or the Arab, whatever it is, good Arabs, bad Arabs, but those relationships where their marriages are arranged, they don't like each other first, they don't know each other, they're fucking strangers, you know, but as they get to know each other, they end up growing together, and so the relationship doesn't start off exceptional, but it grows into something strong, and they build something because they have these memories, this lifetime of memories that they've built together. But you have with the Americans or the Westernized or whatever it may be, I guess the rest of the world, you know, two people pick each other, and it's all excitement at first, but that excitement never lasts. I mean, it's going to dwindle. I mean, there's no way that you can, it just don't work like that. You know, there's nothing that's going to burn at that level of energy forever. Eventually it's going to dwindle, and you have to start. That's why I feel like relationship growth is essential. That's why you have to be willing to find your partner who's willing to learn with you, who's willing to grow with you, who's willing to develop with you, who's willing to try to increase and become better with you. Because otherwise, especially like how we talked earlier about ignorant couples, those relationships aren't going to last because all they're going to know how to do is fucking have more kids. Them kids are going to cause more problems, and they're just going to get more and more frustrated with each other because it's going to be harder and harder just to fuck around because you're going to have little kids and baby kids running around in diapers and messes and more money problems and things like that. But if that couple says, okay, hey, we made a mistake, we had this first kid young, let's make this thing work, but let's grow together, let's learn together, let's do what it takes to be better together. That couple will have one of the strongest bonds that you possibly could have, because again, they were a part of each other's development as people. Now, will it be perfect? No, never will be. Could they splitting up? Yeah, they may realize that as they learn and they grow and they develop, you know, hey, I have this certain set of beliefs. The other person may say, I have this certain set of beliefs. But the thing is, they grew and became better people and were able to realize that. And if they do go their separate ways, then they understand themselves a bit better. But more than likely, they'd probably stay together because of the fact that they put in that work with each other and grew. But so I think that you do have people who plot and scheme, and I think the people who get plotted and schemed on put themselves in that position. You know, because there are people who are willingly, well, you know, this bitch ain't shit, but, you know, she got some big tits and a big ass, and she's got blonde hair, and she can twerk a little bit. Her time is a little bit off, but hey, the ass is big. So I'll tell her, you know what, I'll make her a trophy. I'll put a ring on her finger. Oh, I just now realized she don't give a fuck about me, and she's only fucking with me because I got a bunch of shit. Like, of course you know that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, motherfuckers like Harvey Weinstein and guys like this, you know why these motherfuckers is fucking with them. It ain't because of their stunning good looks. You know what I mean? And so if people like that who have assets and they flaunt those assets and they put those assets on Front Street to try to get women, then of course women are going to try to take them for it. Just like if a woman flaunts her assets, her physical features, and she puts that on Front Street, that's what a man is going to try to take her for. I mean, it just is what it is. People are going to try to take from you. People who are conniving, plotting, and scheming are going to look at you and say, okay, All right, what can I get from this motherfucker? Just like you mentioned, I remember you mentioned your friend with the BMW. Like you said with the BMW, who said, I just got this car to get women. Okay, so they gonna use him, and if he ain't got nothing else besides that they can take, they gonna use everything they can get up out of him. And then when there ain't no more to take, they gonna adios, peace, amigo.
When the car break down,
yeah,
they don't want him no more. I told him that. But
exactly, and so that's what I mean, and that's what it is. So I can understand. It's a little bit of both. Like nothing's completely black and white. We live in a world where there are nuances to everything, and again, certain situations. If it makes you happy, if a person wants to be a simp and they want to trick all their shit off, and it makes them happy to be in a position to be able to trick shit off, it's better than being dead broke and trying to trick. You know what I mean? You ain't got nothing to trick off, but you want to be a trick. So there's that. If that makes them happy, makes them feel good, then hey, more power to you. If whatever your situation is makes you feel good, then do what works for you. But you have to understand, don't think that everything that is because you flaunt money, don't think you're going to get genuine love because of that. Just because you do stuff that try to make everybody happy, you won't get genuine love because of that. Because what will happen as soon as you stop making everybody happy and try to do your own thing, all them people will, well, fuck you too. Then I'm so used to you doing everything that I want you to do. As soon as you stop doing that, you're a piece of shit. You're out there. People turn their back on you. It's a cold, cold world, man. It's a cold, cold world. But you got to make sure that you protect yourself accordingly. And so that's what it is. Don't run from your problems, Heidi. I'm going to go off running. This is depressing and heartbreak. Sometimes you got to deal with depressing and heartbreak in life. It is what it is. Niggas have a BMW living in the trap. Exactly. Wonder why they getting these trap hoes. Well, maybe she got that fresh yaki weave. I'm trying to, the niggas be happy with that weave. Oh my God. We're going to have to talk about that shit one day. But
hey man, I never liked a woman with fake anything. I don't give a fuck. Fake hair, fake nails, fake eyelashes. Matter of fact, that it just crossed my mind. When I said fake eyelashes, I took my daughter to the dentist the other day. I kid you not. I got on glasses so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. And the lady that was checking my daughter's teeth, because my daughter had just got braces, and the lady that was checking my daughter's teeth, her eyelashes was so long they was hitting her glasses. And every time she would talk to me, she would do this here, fix them up a little bit, put her glasses back on. About 5 seconds later, just kept on like that. And I'm looking at her, I'm like, what the fuck is she doing? I didn't say anything, but I'm like, what is she doing? Then I realized when she talked, every time she would talk, she would blink her eyes, and her eyelashes were so long, they were banging up against her glasses that they were getting all in her eyes and stuff. And boy, when I realized that, I tried my damnness to hold my laugh in. And when she walked out the room, I just died laughing. I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm like, are you serious? You couldn't, whatever. But that was just dumb to me. I just thought about that because we were talking about fake stuff. But anyway, yeah, I don't like a woman fake anything. I'm sorry. If I can be natural and real, you can too. You know what I'm saying? For example, I've said this 100 times before, and I say it again. Go look at the last stream I just did with Honcho when we were talking about the value of time or something like that. It was called, I forgot the exact name. You can see my beard was all scraggly. I need to shave my head. The only reason why, like I always say, I shave my head right now and fix my beard up because I went out with my wife today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like I always say, I try to look good for her. But you can go back and look at that stream. That was just, 2 days ago? Well, yeah, 2 days ago. I had to think about it. Mm-hmm. But and guess what? That's what I say. If I can be scraggly and looking whatever and still be confident who I am and what I look like, you can too.
Yeah.
There ain't no difference.
Yeah.
There ain't no difference. Like I always say, fairness in a man and a woman, that's fairness right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
So
that's exactly.
So with the women being opposed, you're being opposed to the fake weave. So you're not with the fellas who going and getting the fake fades. You know what I'm saying? Dude get in the chair, he start off bald, they spray some shit on their head, next thing you know they got a bunch of curls and they end up fading it off. It's almost like weave for men. I don't know if you've seen that. You might have to look at it. I have to find the proper term. They got like little man hair units now. Dude can go in there bald and come out with a fade and come out with some waves or whatever else may be. Some of them is sprayed on. Some of them is actually like little units they glue in and they glue them a edge up and they do a whole bunch of stuff and then they'll fade it up like a real haircut and come out with a whole hairdo.
No, I have never heard of that before. That's a new one to me. I gotta look that up.
Yeah.
I gotta look that up.
Yeah.
But no, but hey, it's just like I was saying before, man. I know we talked about this 100 times before, but I just can't fathom this. Like I said before, people when they get older, they want to get all this plastic surgery, want to dye their hair and stuff like that, so they can still look young. Hey, look at that right there. Look at all that gray right there in my beard. Look at all that. I don't give a damn. I'm not finna go get no Just for Men and diet. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I had my time being young. Now it's time for me to get old. Yeah. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I get gray early. So what? It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, in fairness, women could do it too. They just don't want to.
Yeah.
Whatever their reasons may be, I don't know. But it is what it is. But that's just what I was talking about. And then man got another question for me. How do you raise your daughter to not go in the wrong direction? How do you make sure she isn't secure by her peers? That's a good one. That's a damn good question there, man. And I'm going to tell you like this. It starts with at home. I tell her all the time, I don't care what no one says. You are beautiful the way you are. You could do whatever you want in life, as long as you're doing it the right way, things like that. You know, things of that nature. And I told her, I say, everybody's not going to like what you do. I gave her a good example because a good friend of mine, you know, here, he's a New York Giants fan, and I'm a Texan fan, and we're real good friends, you know what I'm saying? And I use that example. I say, everybody's not going to like what you do. Not going to like everything that you like. I say, I'm not going to say his name, but I say, who's his favorite team? Football team. See, they New York Giants. I say, who's daddy's favorite team? Houston Texans. I say, we're real good friends, right? But we like different things, right? And that's what I was trying to explain to her. And I know she's only 8, but you keep that in her head. As she gets older and older, she will start to understand things. Yes, she's going to struggle with it as she gets older. That's part of life. You know, we all went through that. We all do that. You know, it is what it is. But you keep that in their head, and you keep telling, like I said, it starts with home. I tell my daughter she's beautiful no matter what. And I know you're talking about I got the Tech-9 beard. I gave you power. You know what? I finally, because y'all kept saying I look like Tech-9, I finally looked him up, and that's fucked up. I do not look like that. That is fucked up, for real.
Got to
that
spit
is
over there.
fucked up.
Good grief.
I looked that dude up because I had never seen him before. When I finally Googled him, I said, man, that's fucked up. Why? Because he bald and he got a beard like mine, so we look alike. That's fucked up.
Y'all prejudiced, man. Y'all prejudiced.
That's fucked up, man. I don't look like that dude. That dude, whatever. I ain't finna go into that. But just letting y'all know, I finally looked him up, see what he looked like. I'm like, hell no. Just because I'm bald, he's bald, I got a beard like this, and he do too? Man, hell no. Anyway, however you say your name, people say he look like Babyface. Okay. I'm not going to say you do or don't. Okay, whatever.
But what matters is can you sing like Babyface? You ain't getting hoes if you can sing like Babyface, goddamn. Or John B. They both about the same. John B. and Babyface was interchangeable.
I forgot what I'm talking about. They got me off topic and so, well, whatever, man.
We was talking about earlier about your daughter, you know, teaching them, you know, different friends and how, you know, you have different likings and things like that.
They got me off topic. But yeah, I was just saying, you know, how, you know, people is not going to like everything you like. And like I said, I know she's only 8. She's still getting this thing. She's still figuring it out. She still has her likes and stuff, you know, and people that she likes in school has their likes. And it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, when we was youngsters, we went through that ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. It just you just look at it a different way now that you're older and you got kids now and y'all are, you know what I'm saying, you're trying to teach your kids this, you know what I'm saying? I know, Honcho, you said you don't have any biological kids, but you know, yeah, the little girl that you're with right now, along with your lady. But you know, you get what I'm saying though. Yeah. And you know, it's going to be a learning process. It's not going to be just an overnight thing. I said one time and that's it. No, you got to burn that into their brain. Because I tell my daughter all the time, she is beautiful the way she is. Don't change nothing. I don't, because when she gets older, I know there's going to be peer pressure on her. I know there's going to be some people that's going to want her to do this and do that. And I try to burn that into her brain to tell them, fuck you. I'm beautiful the way I am. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. And why I say this, I very rarely get mad. Very, very rarely. I might get a little amped up on something, but I rarely get mad. It all depends. So, you know, those days are kind of over with me. It just all depends on the situation, things like that. And Ed, man, don't worry about my chain, man. Don't worry about my chain. But
that might be a jack move. You got to watch out for Ed, man. He might be plotting on you, man. You got to watch out.
Yeah, so that's all that is, though. You just got to burn into their brain when they're young. Let them know that they're beautiful. They can accomplish anything in this earth. And like I said, you know, my little girl, she's amazing. She's amazing. She is.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Well, here's the deal, man. Here's the deal. I think we go get to a point we can wind up. Yeah, I had to go ahead and run up on the. The 7 pistachios real quick. Yeah, I was slacking, so I had to make the move to get the 7 pistachios real quick. It's the weekend, so I'll give y'all a mixer because look, y'all ain't getting no action during the week, so I get a mixer crew. I give y'all the action on the weekend, so we'll get some mixer action today for a little while. But tomorrow, like I say, it's the start of the first of many 6-month planning plans, I guess you would say. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I mapped out a bunch of stuff this weekend, really got down to the details. And that's as far as to try to map my life out for the next 6 months. And I think that, you know, what's funny about something like that is, though, you know, if you can plan, but you never know what exactly is going to happen. But as long as you have an idea, you know, other opportunities will come, and some may be good, some may be bad. But you got to really start planning your stuff down. So otherwise, life will take you. It's like a current, you know, it'll take you wherever if you don't really map out what you're trying to do. So. I'm eating the last of my junk snacks today, so I'm not going to eat no trash, no junk for the next 6 months. As much as I know I'm going to miss it. No junk, no trash for the next 6 months. I got a goal. I've set in 6 months, because I always say I've been trying to get a 6-pack, but I've definitely been slacking the last few months. I've been going in reverse and getting a keg. As opposed to the damn 6-pack. So I got a plan, the gradual plan. Now I plan to overwork it, but if I follow according to the plan I have now, by April, I should have a legitimate 6-pack, not a suck my stomach in and flex, but a legitimate natural one that I don't have to do all that flogging for. But I plan to outwork that, but we'll see what happens from that point. I've written out the 5 major things, and basically it's what I'm going to do each day. But then as I go by day, I'm going to journal it. I'm going to make sure I have a to-do list. I have certain things to check off, so that way I'll keep track each day. Okay, hey, you know, this day, you know, I did all the activities that are planned or scheduled. And like I said, because I have something, I got one plan for the den, for growing the den. I got one plan for growing the sauce. I got one plan for, you know, just me physically. Some other things I plan to do that I ain't gonna get into quite yet, but what I need to do for these things each day. So what I did the weekend is just kind of map out, a game plan of what needs to be done. And so then I have another notebook, basically, which I'll journal my activities for that day. Because the 2 things, as I've been researching, like, you know, great people as of late, the 2 main things that have stuck out to me from almost everybody is meditation and or keeping a journal, you know. And so I figure that, you know, if you do a little bit of both, it'll put you in a good position. And when I say meditation, because I've really started to realize the effects. And the more that I've been doing it, at first it would be hard to keep my mind focused, but now that I've been doing it more, it's like I can zone in on what it is I'm trying to accomplish, and then that time is starting to go by faster. Like when I'm only thinking I'm focused mainly on one thought, when I'd probably have 5 or 6 thoughts during maybe a 15-minute meditation session, you know, I may really hinder in and lock in on one. And by the time I get ready to start kind of focusing on something else, like my time is over with, so I'm going to start extending that to probably about 30 minutes. And just that helps you plan for the day. And then when you recap the day at the end of the day, you can kind of just look back and say, okay, I can fix this, I can improve this. And by journaling that's how you end up doing that. So that's just kind of how I plan on doing those things, man. You know what I'm saying? And pretty much that's it. That's pretty much it.
I'm basically eating better myself. You know, I used to eat a little bit of junk food. As you probably noticed, the last few days I haven't. Now, I will say this here. I need to cut back on the soda. Yeah. But taking it one step at a time. Yeah, that's why this time I had a refreshing drink. I don't know about the copyright stuff, so I don't want to say all that stuff. But anyway.
Yeah, you good. You coach on that one.
Yeah, I had something to drink. Not no alcohol, no, because I don't drink, but drink alcohol. But anyway, I've been trying to get in better shape myself.
Yeah.
'Cause me and my wife was like, let's join a gym. And ever since joining the gym, I've been eating a little bit better. Been trying to do things a little bit better. Now, I haven't just said, no more fast food, no more junk food. No, I ain't gonna lie like that. I haven't. I just slowed down. Put it like that.
Yeah.
So, but, I've been doing this stuff myself. I've been doing it myself, trying to lose a little bit of this gut myself. It is what it is.
I mean, you got to. I mean, because man, this stuff can be real tempting. It can get you real quick before you realize. And again, you'd be like, man, I was just weighing how I get to, here. And I was just toned. I was looking like I was working. How I get over here, And so you gotta be on top of that kind of stuff, man. Otherwise, again, like I said, you'll be behind the 8 ball before you know it. So, but like I say, man, I appreciate y'all. We'll get some little mixer action going over. Give me about what is it? About to be about 12. So I should be ready for y'all. Probably about 12, right around 12, if not at 12. It's all Gucci. I'm not sure how to. I can't even go undo him. But I mean, he'll be back in a minute. But because the thing when you time them out is one thing. When you add them, it's something different. Because I forgot how to undo it. But again, so I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate you, man, up being able to, make some availability to join us again. Again, another great conversation, man. Again, like I say, and what y'all have to do is y'all may think we just sitting here talking shit with y'all, but y'all really need to, take opportunity, because not everybody's going to sit here and tell you this advice. Some people want to watch you crash and burn. Some people will lift you up to watch you fall.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We have nothing to gain from you, taking this advice. It's not benefiting us to tell you this. It's a conversation to have because it's a good conversation to have, but you may not always get these opportunities, man. Take these things and benefit from them, man, because a lot of you guys are younger, and a lot of you guys may or may not have somebody who's willing to tell you these things. Some people's parents kind of let things go. They think everything's going to be on autopilot. Some people think that, their kids, they'll figure it out. So, the fact that y'all stumbled into the den, or that y'all, been fucking with whatever, however y'all get here, take that advice. To some of y'all, it's just a reminder. And sometimes it's good to have a reminder. And that's why I enjoy having these conversations, because it's a good reminder for myself. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of ultimately what it's about. You got to keep these thoughts refreshed in your mind. And so it is what it is. Say the damn been more motivating the last 2 weeks. That's kind of, man, and that's kind of the direction I think ultimately that I want the den to go in, because Kush Den is cool. We talked a lot of shit, get fucked up, talk shit. But even when, whenever the Smoke Saturdays or whatever it is do come back, it'll still be a while. I want there to be a message at least to come out of these dens, no matter whatever it is that we talk about. Some type of something that you can say, what, that last den, it made me think about something, or it put a good thought in my mind, or, it sparked an idea or something like that. I think that's what's most beneficial. Like, it's always cool to talk shit. We're going to have those evenings where we just talk a lot of shit and just have fun. But at the same time, I want people to feel a benefit from that. And that's what I want this community to be like, a real conversation. But ultimately, you gain something from it. Be a little bit better than you were when you came in, or remember something that you forgot when you came in, whatever it may be. But with that being said, man, I appreciate all the calls. Shout out to everybody who held it down. Shout out to Man Up especially. Can't wait to have you back on. So definitely let me know when you're available. We're going to do it again real soon. With that being said, it is the end of September. Yes, yeah. Look, let me pull my mind. An exclusive club. Everybody ain't able. Very exclusive club. But again, man, y'all make sure that
go get you one.
Yeah, I'll see y'all in October, man, and with a few minutes. But and I appreciate all of y'all for holding down the den, man. Like I said, we'll be doing it again real soon. Thank you, Man Up. With that being said, Kenneth ain't in here, so I ain't gonna kick y'all out. I'm gonna politely escort y'all to the door of the den, and y'all ain't gotta go home. Y'all can definitely check out the mixer. Y'all should have the link by now, and if not, I'll put it in the chat after we wind it all down, and we out.